In this video, I'll be sharing how I get close to 100% germination rates. Here in front of us are the supplies that I use regularly. Um, right here I have Jiffy Seed Starting Mix, organic, purchased at your local garden store. I also have a coffee mug with a black tea packet and an extra glass. I have Clorox bleach and its dedicated bottle for cleaning. My seeds, and an extra water bottle, and a 72 plug tray, which you can also find at your local garden center. Now, this tray I cut into sections. It was all one sheet. The reason I cut into sections is because I can grow different kinds of plants that may have different germination rates. So I can remove the plants that germinated while the other ones are still germinating in the tray. Now, I also store my seeds in the refrigerator and bring them out when I'm ready to plant. I believe the process is called stratification. With proper stratification, the seeds should be in for as long as you would like to mimic winter, for example, a few months. I don't do that. I just put them in for a few days prior to planting. I guess that kind of mimics a cold snap. I have this powder at the bottom. It's called damp rid. It'll absorb any moisture that's in the air that's trapped inside of the jar. You can see I have my seeds sitting in there. And I keep these in the bag because the damp rid, as it absorbs moisture, it will get wet down here. So I keep these in a separate bag. And this is how I store my seeds. Now the Clorox bleach, we're going to use this to disinfect prior to working. I use 1 part Clorox bleach to 10 parts water. You have to get a specific type of Clorox. I don't know if you guys can see here. This has 7.5% sodium hypochlorite. That's the chemical we use to kill the germs and spores. If you get the no spill Clorox, that has, I believe, around half the percentage of sodium hypochlorite, somewhere around 3.5%. Same thing with the bootleg brands. There are some bootleg brands in Dollar Tree that do have the 7.5%. So you don't have to stick to this name brand, but you have to make sure that there's at least 7.5% sodium hypochlorite. We use this in the medical field to clean blood spills or any other body fluids. So you use 1 part Clorox bleach, 9 parts water. Leave the surface moist for about 10 minutes, and that'll kill your bacteria and spores. We do want to get rid of spores. Spores are kind of like the seeds of mold. And one other thing I almost forgot is we're going to be using hydrogen peroxide to rinse the seeds. So first thing I'm going to do is spray down my area, including the seed trays. I've already pre-mixed the bleach solution here. So I'm going to spray this down, get it thoroughly wet. I'm also going to spray my counter, so I'm not worried about it dripping all over the counter. And I'm going to let this sit wet for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to thoroughly rinse these out, and then I can begin to use them. And I'll do that for all the trays, even the reservoir. When I'm done here, I'll soak it down. And my whole area, when I'm done with the whole area that's been sit for 10 minutes, I'll wipe everything down and rinse these really good. So I've cleaned my surfaces and the seed tray with a bleach solution. Everything's been wiped down and rinsed well with water. And now we're going to start planting the seeds. First, we're going to start by making a weak solution of black tea. We're going to soak the seeds in this solution for about 30 minutes. So we'll make the black tea. We'll dilute it to about a quarter strength after we make the black tea. Now I'm just gonna let it steep for about 30 seconds. And then I'll dilute it even further to 25%. And we'll let the seeds sit in the black tea solution for about 30 minutes. This is supposed to mimic the digestive tract of animals, especially birds. Plants have adapted to the digestive tracts of birds. So a lot of the seeds will benefit from going through this process. And basically, this is a weak acidic solution. You can use other things, but a lot of people, including myself, have good luck using a weak solution of black tea. So I've made the black tea. I inserted the bag into 8 ounces of boiling water for about 30 seconds. So what I'll add to this, I'll fill the rest of the cup up with cool water. I want to make sure the temperature is close to room temperature. Room temperature right now for me is about 76 degrees. I'll be fine for any temperature between 75 and 82 degrees. So I'm going to dilute this. And then we'll transfer it to clear glass so it's easier to see. And we'll put our seeds in. My diluted black tea solution has cooled down and is now ready for soaking seeds. I'll be soaking a few different seeds, including French marigolds. Usually I would have purchased the plant, but they are wiped out of stores. Everybody has the same idea with marigolds. Now these will bloom in only 30 days. So I'll be planting these along with hot peppers, ahi charapita, Bulgarian carrot, white boot jolokia, Santa Fe Grande, and 7-pot Douglas. Now I currently already have Carolina Reapers growing and some watermelons. These will join them. So right now I'm going to soak just 6 seeds. I'll be using just one of these sections to hold the 6 seedlings. I'll put 1 seed in each slot. You'll see other growers, they'll put multiple seeds and they hope for one to grow or they'll thin them out right there. I'm shooting for every single one to grow. Now, I've never used this source from where I got these seeds, so I'm hoping that these are all viable. Viable meaning that I hope they're able to grow. A lot of reasons they may not grow is because the seeds are pretty old or they're contaminated or they're too immature. There's a lot of reasons why a seed may not be viable. I've had very good luck with pucker butt seeds. The last batch I got 100% germination with those. Also with seeds from the New Mexico University Chile Institute. I usually get 90 to 100% germination with those as well. So 6 seeds, 6 cells. I'll probably thin them down to my strongest 3 or 4 ultimately, just for saving space, because I grow these out in 5-gallon buckets or in my garden bed. So there'll be some thinning out of the weaklings, but I'm hoping that these seeds are viable enough to grow every single one I plant. So I'm just going to tear this packet open. I'm not sure how many seeds are in here. Take a look at the seeds. Okay, there's a couple of abnormal seeds in there. There's even some pieces of tissue in there. So I'm going to have to look through these seeds. I'll dump the whole packet into the tea solution and I'll come back in 30 minutes and pull out the 6 seeds that look the best, that are not discolored or they don't look damaged or anything. I usually don't have an issue with other places or other sources, but These have a look like they have a quality control issue, but shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully, still get pretty good germination rates. Now I'll treat all the seeds, even the marigolds, all the same. I'll be planting the marigolds down to a 1/4 inch, and the hot peppers, I'll be planting them down to 1/8 of an inch. But they'll all receive the same water, which is filtered city water. It's filtered through 1 micron. It's going to then go through carbon filter to remove a lot of the dissolved chemicals. So I feel pretty safe with my tap water. It doesn't remove everything, which I had reverse osmosis, and I felt like the lack of any dissolved solids was harming my plants. So I got rid of that. We'll let this sit for 30 minutes and we'll be back to start planting. So the seeds have been soaking for 30 minutes. So now we're going to prepare the soil and transplant them. Now for the other packets of seeds, I found it easier to use shot glasses. It is 2021. And it's just a lot easier to fish out the seeds from shot glasses. But I put it in this glass so it's easier for us to see. So let's prepare the trays. Now this step is pretty straightforward. So you get your Jiffy seed starting mix. I have my tray here. We're going to fill this to just about level. We'll push off the excess right off the top. Now, when you water this, it will not expand or contract. So what you fill it to is what you're going to get. Now, I do pack it down just slightly while it's dry. You do not want to pack it down while it's wet because it may overpack. And that'll block a lot of the oxygen and you'll end up with your seeds rotting. Just put a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Now you can use a watering can. You just got to be careful it doesn't knock the soil out. I like to use this spray. It's pretty high volume. I'll just spray the surface. Now at first there's going to be a lot of surface tension, so the water's going to pool. You'll just need to give it 5-10 minutes for the water to sink in. I've already did a tray about 5 minutes ago. It absorbed the water and we're ready for transplanting. Before I plant the seeds, I rinse them in a solution of 3% alcohol peroxide. I use 1 part peroxide, 2 parts water. Doesn't have to be perfect. Stir it. I'll put my seeds in and I let this sit for 1 minute. After a minute, I'll drain out this solution and then I'll rinse the seed with plain, clean water or whatever water you're watering your seedlings with. And then they're ready to be planted. Take a seed, plant it in the middle. See it right there in the center. Now this needs to go down about 1/8 of an inch. So I'll just press on it slightly. You can use a pencil for this. And I'll just scrape a little bit of soil on top. Not much. That's it. I'll do the same thing for every single one. Now your marigold seeds need to get down to a 1/4 inch. So I just lay them across the soil like that. And you can use a pencil. Now I usually use my finger for everything. It doesn't have to be exact. But a brand new eraser on a pencil, the whole pink part is actually 3/4 of an inch. So if you include the thickness of most seeds, most small seeds, you'll get to 1/4 inch. So you can press down until the metal is at the surface of your soil, and there goes your 1/4 inch. Your seeds in there, and just pinch the soil over, and that's how we'll plant marigolds or whatever needs to go down to 1/4 inch. When I'm done, I return them to the tray, and I don't put a humidity dome on it. I just put a piece of wax paper. The reason I don't put a humidity dome is because I live in Florida, and that dome creates a lot of humidity. And you'll have seedlings that have sprouted while others have not. And you'll still need the humidity dome until they all sprouted, which means your sprouted seedlings are in a high humidity dome when they don't have to be. In Florida, it's so humid, if you fall asleep in your lawn, you'll end up with mold growing on your back. It's ridiculous. So what I do is I leave this there, and every day I'll take a peek. I'll check moisture, and I'll look for any sprouts. As soon as I see a sprout, I'll either remove this completely, because chances are the other sprouts are on the way. If, let's say, for instance, only one sprouted so far, I'll make sure to keep the others moist, because now that the paper's gone, these are going to dry out a little bit faster. Or you just tear out a piece of the paper, of the wax paper, and that way the rest are covered, which keep you from having to water it every day while your seedling is exposed. Now, there is no transition period. As soon as it starts coming up, I remove the paper from that one or the whole tray. Now, it's okay if the seedlings press up on the paper. They can all grow up against the paper. They'll just lift the paper up without any problems. But no humidity dome. I also bottom water, because these are just watered on the surface. So right now I will bottom water and let them sit for about 5 minutes in the water. And that'll help the rest of the soil absorb it. And I won't bottom water until they emerge. Now I may mist lightly on the surface as needed to keep the surface moist, because that's where the seed's at. Once the seed starts emerging and it needs water again, I bottom water and I allow the top to go dry. Allowing the top to go dry prevents mold and fungus gnats, both of which I had a problem with before, and they're resolved by just letting the top go dry. It doesn't mean the plant doesn't get any moisture. By the time the seedling is sticking up, it's going to have a taproot that's at least halfway down the soil. So your bottom watering will take care of that. And that's it for now. Thank you. Today is March 31st, 2021, and the video just prior to this moment was recorded less than 48 hours ago, about 45 hours ago, and I'm already seeing sprouts. These are the marigold sprouts. In this section, these are French marigold sprouts. And in this section is a mixture of marigolds. I don't know if you can barely see that one there. Since there's only a few emerging out of the 72 cells, I just tore the holes open so that they can get sunlight and airflow. And that'll help me prevent mold. Now, if I start getting any more sprouts, I'll just completely remove the sheets. This whole section is mixed marigolds. Up here, I have French marigolds. Oh, there's another sprout I didn't recognize or realize. Then I have my peppers in these areas. The peppers have not emerged. All these are marigolds. Not 100% yet, but it's only been about 45, 46 hours. I will put an update video when I feel I get close to or at 100% germination. Or if I fail, I will post a follow-up. Hopefully within the next week, week and a half. Thank you.